Welcome to video 2 in the Gyprock DIY series. In video 1 we showed you how to plan your project and what you'd need to complete the job. In this video we'll show you how to handle, measure and cut plasterboard.
The first thing to think about is safety, so make sure you have safety glasses, gloves and a dust mask handy. You could also consider hearing protection if you'll be working in a loud environment. For cutting Gyprock plasterboard for walls and ceilings, you'll need tape measure and pencil, a straight edge to help mark and cut the board, a utility knife to score and snap the board, a keyhole or plasterboard saw for cutting out penetrations, and a fine tooth saw for larger cuts. Make sure you store Gyprock plasterboard lying down in a covered dry place, away from rain or excess humidity until you're ready to use it. Sheets are generally easier to handle on their edge. To remove a sheet from a stack, slide it to the side of the stack, carefully push down on the leading edge and lower it to the ground. Depending on the length of the board, you may need 2 people to handle it safely, so make sure you have someone around to give you a hand. Now, while Gyprock plasterboard can be installed either vertically or horizontally to walls, it's best to install the sheets with the long sides at right angles to the wall studs, which means the sheets will run horizontally. For ceilings, always install the sheets with the long edges at right angles to the ceiling joists. Okay, now that we're ready to measure up and cut our board, it's worth remembering the old saying, measure twice and cut once. It's a good idea to take 10mm off the length to give you room to manoeuvre the board in the room, and install with a 5mm gap at each end to allow for frame movement. Gyprock plasterboard can be easily cut with a fine tooth saw, but the easiest way to cut Gyprock like the professionals is by scoring and snapping. Measure and mark both edges of the board on the face side, that's the side without the printing. Using the marks as a guide, score a line all the way across using a straight edge and a sharp utility knife, making sure you cut through the paper facing and only a couple of millimeters into the core. Push on the off-cut side to snap the core along the score line. Now simply cut through the back lining paper at the fold. For cutting the board around door and window openings, first measure and mark the board and then make your first cut using your saw. Once you have the saw cut, you can then saw or score and snap the other cut. A keyhole saw is ideal for cutting out holes for power points, switches or light fittings, even curves for arches. Measure and mark the hole and then push the tip of the saw through the board to start the cut. Don't use a hammer, as this may damage the board.
Now you know how to handle, measure and cut Gyprock plasterboard. Take a look at the next video, installing ceilings and walls. And why not check out the rest of the videos in the Gyprock DIY series.